Okay. So thank you, and good afternoon from my side as well. My name is Urmas Ruuto, working as head of technology branch at this, NATO CCDCoE, in short. Yeah, no business card, so if you can QR code, so you can find me from LinkedIn, and we can get connected. A few words about the center, what we are and what we are not. So we are many times associated with NATO, and of course we are, but we are not belonging to chain of command of NATO. We are accredited by NATO, but we are not getting any funding. Our member nations are actually paying our so-called bills, and our host nation Estonia as well. But just for your knowledge, there is actually 29 centers of excellence. And yeah, I think one of the, I think for me, it's most interesting is, like, for example, in Norway, we have cold weather operations, maybe not so much needed in Australia, but definitely in our region. But then, yeah, we have hybrids COE in Helsinki and Stratcom in Riga. So all our member countries are having COEs as well. But I would actually show you a small introductory video, then you can get all the facts about CCDCoE.
In 2004, Estonia, a new NATO member, proposed to create a cyber defense hub. In 2007, the same nation was hit by the first ever politically motivated cyber attacks. A year later, Estonia and 6 other nations launched the NATO-accredited Cyber Defense Hub in Tallinn. Today, the CCDCoE involves civilian and military experts from most NATO nations and partners of the alliance from across the globe. We focus our efforts to address the most significant cyber defense issues. We serve as a collaboration hub between national governments, the military, NATO and other international organizations, academia and the private sector. We do research, training and exercises in 4 focus areas. The highlights are the Tallinn Manual, the Lawyers and Policy Advisors Survival Guide to the Cyber Galaxy, now revised in accordance with evolving state practice. Locked Shields, a unique international live-fire exercise starring cyber defenders. Crossed Swords, a red teaming exercise focusing on offensive cyber operations. And CyCon, the annual must-attend for the international cyber community. We ensure that NATO receives the right cyber training for the right people at the right time. We train thousands of cyber experts and senior leaders both on-site and online. Our cyber law toolkit helps legal advisors and policy experts navigate the legal issues raised by cyber operations. Our reports help the military and national security professionals steer clear of cyber threats. In a rapidly evolving environment, we are actively analysing the impact of emerging technologies and publishing pioneering studies. However, one thing stays the same. The key actors in cyber defence are the people.
Yes, so our member nations, somehow we are making difference between NATO countries and like-minded nations, sponsoring nations, yeah, coming from NATO countries, and contributing participants from rest of the world. So hopefully Norway and Sweden will be then moved up there as well. So we have, I believe, even when we are introducing like a new member, official new member, then we have the flag ceremony and so on. So even in this case, I believe the Swedish and the Finnish flag will be lowered and then raised again. So just becoming member again. But as you can see as well, that Australia is joining nation. So basically, I know that it's so heavy paperwork, which I don't know, takes a year or 2 to become a member. But we have already representative at the center working in Tallinn, so it's very glad about that one. Flagship projects were mentioned already in the video as well. I will be talking a little bit more about lock shields and crosswords, about cyber exercises. But yeah, CCDCoE is international conference which is usually happening in June. Usually the papers are called somewhere in December, and now we are reviewing these papers what were received. And Tallinn Manual, I think second edition is out. They are preparing the third one, but it's basically collecting international or how to treat the cyber from the international law perspective. So basically we are doing covering three areas: exercises, trainings, and research. And from the department, it heavily depends how much effort you will put somewhere, but from technology branch, we basically more than half of our time is going to the exercises, maybe 1/4 to trainings and 1/4 to research. But about exercises, crosswords, this is then offensive exercise. Started from very small desktop exercise, but now it is really conducted on different levels, in that sense that from technology point of view, of course, we are doing the red teaming exercise, pen testing and so on, but there is also like kinetic element, so that special forces and also military police can exercise, and also from the headquarters point of view, we are also training the cyber commanders. Some figures from, I don't know, I didn't found the 2022 slide, but here is some facts about 2 years back exercise. Then lock shields, which is much bigger than crosswords and is defense exercise. And I don't know, let's see if this video will work.
The world as we know it is under attack. You must defend yourself or risk losing it all. Cyber is here to stay.
With more than 2,000 participants and over 5,500 lifelike systems under constant attack, Locked Shields is the world's largest and most complex live fire exercise.
Our primary goal is to give our primary training audiences to experience what it's like to act when their country is under cyber attack.
It takes place in the home of NATO Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence, located in Tallinn, the capital of Estonia, a country with a population less than half of that of Berlin. What makes it the single most complex cyber defense exercise out there? Simple.
We build an artificial country that we've called Borrelia,
where 24 blue teams from 32 countries all over the world compete to defend their nation from highly diverse cyber attacks.
Locked shields refers to ancient close battle formations where you actually use your shield not only to protect yourself, but the soldier next to you.
The 400 members of the organizing green, yellow and white teams spent around 100,000 man-hours to prep the exercise, with more than 8,000 live fire attacks conducted by the opposing red team.
Good morning, blue teams. I have just one thing to say to you. Good luck.
The game world is closely based on the real world, with problems which are all too real. Banking, power and water grids, satellites, air defense and communication networks, and worst of all, users. Users who need to have access to the systems, yet whose actions can make life a living hell for the defenders. Adding further realism and tension, the teams must grapple with active information and media war, as well as legal challenges. The attacks are designed based on real events from the past years, drawing on the know-how and expertise of the tech and defense industry and various startups. Locked Shields is a 2-day training event where teams are pushed to the edge of their abilities to fend off attacks against vital national infrastructure.
Be part of Locked Shields. We're glad to train you.
So, yeah, all the numbers you already saw as well, but what I would like to maybe mention is that yes, that it is one of the biggest, but I believe what makes difference is that there is also, besides this technical game, there is also strategic game, there is also legal game, and also we are trying to introduce from industry different kind of so-called special systems. So what I mean by special systems, if we will take Locked Shields 22, then we had power grid from Siemens, a local space IT company called Space IT gave us satellite communication. We were using open source 5G in our exercise, tactical communication from Bittium, then water purification system from Singapore University of Technology and Design. Then we had also the financial system from FS Isaac, and also one of the few real like military systems was from ATEC from Brazil, which is air defense system. And then we are also like combining the systems. For example, this Brazilian air defense system was connected via satellite connectivity. So if you will lose the satellite connection, you will lose also the air defense. So you need to also do the strategic thinking how you build your defenses. And obviously, there is so many what we are actually putting up to blue team to defend. So at least so far we haven't seen that they can actually defend everything, and they will be hacked. That's why the red team lead was also basically saying as well that good luck, but we know what is the end result. So yeah, we are constantly really looking new partners, because we need to also refresh our physical systems, that cyber physical systems, that hopefully next year, I will not reveal what will be this year, but next year we would like to bring new elements as well, maybe broadcasting, maybe something related to drones, railways, etc. So if you are interested, then let's get connected, and this is basically the time when we start thinking about Locked Shields 24, because it is a quite a long cycle to actually get it up and running. So before I joined CCDCoE, I was working more than 20 years in Ericsson, so I have actually more telecom background than cybersecurity background, but this is closer to my heart, and then there are projects what we are running as well. One project what we finished last year was regarding military movement. So we were trying to map 5G networks in Estonia, neighboring countries, Baltic, also Poland, Germany. And why? It was very easy scenario that Russia will attack us and we will need allies to protect us, and how they will get to Estonia. And then we thought that, okay, this is the realistic scenario, that first of all they will land or come over with ships, all the equipment, machinery, port of Hamburg. Then they will need to take the highways with flatbed trucks to Estonia. And even if they are not using the 5G, then obviously they will be affected by 5G. Let's assuming that Hamburg port is already smart port using 5G connectivity. In Europe, there is an initiative that they are building 5G corridors. So, yeah, and then just make it short. So basically, one thing what we found out that, not big discovery obviously, but if mobile operators in Europe have been basically decided that we will not use high-risk vendors to build the networks, but then port as private network can build whatever can choose whatever components, what vendors and so on, so you will be affected. And also in these 5G corridors, even if the mobile operators will be building trusted network vendors, using trusted network vendors components, then so-called intelligent transport system, which relies outside mobile operators, they can build their edge computing centers, whatever components they would like to use and so on. So we'll not go further than that, but yeah, this is one work we were doing. Another project was actually kicked off in October, and we are looking federated 5G military networks, which is basically, if we have these private networks or non-public networks, how they are called, and we need to use these resources by allies, so how we actually do it in a secure way. Plus some other NATO initiatives where we are also participating. We are in lot 14, yeah? Now I'm bringing in the CF14, so I need to change my hats as well. So I'm employed by a foundation called CF14, established by Ministry of Defense in Estonia, and I'm sent to the center. I'm doing my tour of duty in the center as my colleagues as well from different countries. And then I was thinking that I will show you some slides about CF14 as well, because cyber range, like a physical cyber range, what we have belongs to CF14. It's just the center is using it for their exercises. And obviously we are conducting just 2 exercises. Crossfords, lock shields, twice a year. Okay, maybe we are supporting some of the NATO exercises as well, like cyber coalition and so on. But then most of the time the range is kind of empty. And then they have been also thinking that, okay, how we can actually use this capacity more efficiently. And that's what they came up with cyber range multiverse, whatever how they call it. But there is a NATO cyber range, which is then conducting NATO exercises on top of that. Then it's called open cyber range, which can be used for smaller startups, SMEs, etc. Then the classified cyber range will be built as well, but it's totally disconnected from rest of the ranges, obviously. And then they are looking also into different ways to interconnect neighboring country cyber ranges as well, so that we can actually conduct exercises where the collaboration and cooperative exercises could be really take place. And my last slide is about NATO Diana initiative, I think, which could be valuable information for you as well. Basically, NATO has decided that they have seen that startups, small companies starting up, doing very good job finding new technologies, and everything ends up in China eventually. So we need to do something about it. So NATO countries were coming together, putting some seed money there, I think 1 billion or something like that, and decided that we will actually build accelerators, training centers to these small startups. And then you will get the funding from there, and they will help you, as we heard, when it comes to this technical readiness, this past this death of valley of death. So I believe this is also a very good opportunity that if the local startups look around, find also some kind of cooperation with European companies and if the military is your target, that you will want to contribute to that sector and build something there, then join the forces and also look this Diana initiative to get some funding and so on. So I believe that you basically need to be OECD member from member nation, and then you're applicable. and the CF14 is then one of the test centers you can choose. So that's it from my side. Thank you.